Another story we want to tell you about this morning. Dozens of students at Western Connecticut State University are sick this morning. The university says students are showing symptoms of both vomiting and diarrhea. The school is now in contact with the state's public health department. It's unclear what caused dozens of students to become sick, but they started getting sick yesterday. School officials are telling anybody who doesn't feel well to get medical help immediately. New developments overnight in North Korea. Officials there announcing that they have suspended nuclear and long-range missile testing, and the nation plans to close a nuclear test site as well. The announcement comes amid preparations for a meeting between North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and President Donald Trump. This all comes weeks after Kim met with CIA Director and current Secretary of State nominee Mike Pompeo, all to lay the groundwork for a possible meeting with Trump. A teenager suspected of firing a gunshot in a Florida school said sorry as he was being led away by deputies. This latest school shooting happened yesterday down in Ocala, Florida. The suspect's been identified as 19-year-old Sky Boucher. He ignored most questions as reported gathered around him, but did say, "I didn't shoot anyone." Now, when he was asked what he'd say to the victim or his family, he added, "Sorry. It doesn't make it better anyway." One student was shot in the ankle. Quite a scare for other students, too, as police swept classrooms after reports of that shooting. Students at Forest High School were supposed to be taking part in the national walkout, protests against gun violence, but it was canceled because of the shooting. Now, yesterday marked the 19th anniversary since the Columbine High School shooting. 2 teenagers killed 12 students and 1 teacher before killing themselves. At that time, national debates followed on gun control and issues such as zero-tolerance policies and school subcultures. Students at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School rallied with thousands of other students across the nation honoring victims of gun violence. The Parkland school lost 17 lives to violence in February. This is the second national school walkout since the devastation at that school. Meanwhile, here at home in Connecticut, dozens of walkouts happened across the state from Ridgefield to Hartford, students making their messages against gun violence loud and clear. Nearly 30 walkouts were scheduled all across the state. The movement once again led by students.
I think the power of young people is that we're willing to listen to one another, and I've always believed that, and now I think we have proof of that.
Now, this Ridgefield High School student, sophomore Lane Murdoch, is credited with starting this round of walkouts. She started a petition calling for the walkout, and that one single petition gained more than 265,000 signatures. In Madison, the students are on spring break this week, but this group of students, including many from Daniel Hand High School, decided to hold a rally despite being on vacation. Dozens of students, their parents, and others in the town of Madison held signs and marched down Main Street demanding lawmakers adopt stricter gun laws. Among the 2,600 schools all across the nation that took part in the National School Walkout was the Kent School. One of their speakers, Congresswoman Elizabeth Esty, she made one of her first appearances in public back here in the state of Connecticut since she decided against running for re-election, following an abuse scandal involving a former chief of staff. But yesterday, she wanted today to be about the students and was not at all interested in talking about her scandal.
I'm not going to answer any. So if that's
how come?
Because I'm here. Because the kids asked me to come.
Right.
No, because the kids asked me to come, and that's why I'm here. So the story is their story, and that's why I'm here today. So
okay.
If that's
just a couple of questions, nothing.
Nothing. I mean, seriously, because this is unfair to them. This is unfair to them.
No, it's not. It's 2 minutes. How is that unfair?
Okay. I'm supposed to be speaking. So,
that's fine.
Yeah,
that's your choice.
No, that's because it's about the kids.
That was Fox 61's Tony Terzi talking with the Congresswoman. She's scheduled to make several public appearances at events throughout her district, the 5th District, this weekend. Later today, the community will gather all in an effort to stop gun violence. The 10th annual Mothers United Against Violence March. Participants will gather at 9:30 this morning at Albany Avenue and Main Street and march to the state capitol at 10 a.m. MUAV was founded by Reverend Henry Brown and a group of women grieving the loss of their own children to violence. Mothers United Against Violence is a community organization of both men and women based in Greater Hartford seeking to provide spiritual support, closure, and justice for the victims and families impacted by violence. 8:10 right now. Happening today, former First Lady Barbara Bush will be laid to rest in Texas. This following days of remembrances in Houston. Mrs. Bush passed away on Tuesday of this week, just days after announcing she was no longer seeking treatment for her COPD. Shane Allen is live in Houston, Texas this morning outside St. Martin's Church, where a private funeral service will be held. Shane, good morning.
Good morning to you, Ben. Many dignitaries expected to join former Presidents Bush and former Florida Governor Jeb Bush in the chapel today, including former Vice President Dick Cheney, his wife Lynn, the Clintons, the Obamas, and First Lady Melania Trump.
We all have our purpose and a special place to serve.
4 days of celebrating a lifetime of memories. Barbara Bush, Houston's First Lady, has given so much to this city.
Especially for literacy and, making sure that the kids learn and they were able to read.
Thousands lined up Friday.
I got here at 5:30 this morning.
And I'm from Philadelphia.
From Western Florida.
For their chance to pay final respects.
She was a great lady, and I think this is the least we can do.
As she lie in repose inside the church she and former President Bush attended, just blocks from their home. Following today's private but nationally televised service, Mrs. Bush will make her final journey to her resting place. The family plot, located at the President George H.W. Bush Library in College Station, Texas.
I know that I'm the world's luckiest woman. I think if I sort of put it in a nutshell, these are the things that are important to me: faith, family, and friends.
Mrs. Bush's funeral begins at 11 a.m. local time. Live in Houston, I'm Shane Allen. Ben, back to you.
Well, Shane, while we have you, what have you been hearing from some of these people that have traveled all across the country just to come down there to Texas? What have they been telling you?
Barbara Bush meant so much to a lot of people, not just here in Houston, but around the world. You've seen on social media people wearing pearls for Barbara, people wearing blue, her favorite color, today and earlier this week. Everyone just inspired by all she's given to the community of Houston and to the United States. Ben?
Well, Shane Allen for us in Houston, Texas. Shane, thanks for your time this morning. And of course, you can expect more continued coverage as the nation remembers the former First Lady today and all weekend long, like Shane said. You can do so on the air here at Fox 61, but also using our Fox 61 News app as well. Still to come on this Saturday morning, the state of Connecticut continuing to work on some type of solution to the state budget crisis. Lawmakers met yesterday to talk about it. We'll have details from their conversation coming up next. Sam.
Ben, we're starting out